so sometimes I get tired of choosing what to watch. So for a change, I thought I'd let fate decide with a game of Anime Roulette. Using one of the internet's many randomizer tools, I'm going to be spinning the wheel of fortune and watching whatever it lands on. Could be literally anything from any decade, so we could find something cool. Let's see what's first up. Uninhabited Planets Survive, which I presume is a literal translation as it doesn't make any sense. Either way, it's a 2003 adventure series that had Madhouse's production help. At first glance it actually looks pretty cool. Strong visual style, slice of life vibes, looks like something I get into. Only problem is that it's 52 episodes. It's going to really have to impress me to make me stick around that long. Let's have a watch of the first episode. So it kicks off with an incredibly short opening that I'm guessing sets up the plot and protagonist for the series. It's literally 1 minute long and it's really over dramatic, but it seems like it doesn't want to take itself too seriously, so maybe something like this was right. It then shows off its funky opening and hops into the present day. So we watch as Luna tackles her first day at school. It's incredibly predictable as everything's really cliche and all the characters are just very basic tropes. It also uses multiple chunks of narration as exposition, stopping the progression as it explains some backstory about the world and its history. What was really odd was that the awesome visual style and world design actually explains most of what the narration was saying. I'm not sure if they realised it, but they didn't actually need to explain most of it to us. They already showed it to us visually without any trouble. Unfortunately, the art style was the only thing that really caught my eye. It just seems to be a collection of cliches as she meets with the quiet cool guy, the clumsy girl with glasses, and the prestigious bully who gets away with everything. Although it was nice of Brock from Pokemon to step in and introduce some thematic content. It turns out the bullies in the school aren't just bullies. They're representations of larger political bullying going on in the world between people of different planets. So some interesting thematic development there. And then she spends the rest of the episode trying to overcome the bullies from the school. Maybe some foreshadowing, but I don't really know. The episode ends quite weirdly. They start replaying the last few shots of the episode and just use a narration for about 30 seconds. Not sure if this was an attempt to revolutionise the episode preview, or if they just forgot to make this bit. Either way, it was quite odd. But overall, it was quite a fun episode. The narrative got boring towards the end because it was so simple, but the visual style kept me impressed with its awesome wide shots. I would like to watch a few more episodes, but I can't see it becoming complex enough to last 52 episodes. But a pretty good start. Let's see what's up next. Gatekeepers is our second series, a PS2 video game adaptation from the year 2000, and you can really tell. Instantly you can see that really strong early 2000s aesthetic, something I'm not a huge fan of, but we'll see how it goes. It doesn't actually look like the game got released outside of Japan, so I'm not surprised I haven't played it before. Although game adaptations rarely offer much, let's see how Gatekeepers does. The first few minutes are a real mixed bag. As you'd expect from an early 2000s show, the production is all over the place. 2D animation seems fine, but really poor quality 3D elements are added in every now and again, and it just kinda looks weird. As is the case with most video game adaptations, I don't really know what's going on, but that's only natural for a story that's designed for a game. But other than that, it's actually quite enjoyable in a weird way. It jumps between storylines, but the characters and situations seem charming and oddly humorous enough to keep me engaged. 10 minutes in and I'm still none the wiser to what's happening. There's people turning into zombies, a bus that turns into a tank, short dialogues with random characters, but it's actually quite fun. After some more random dialogues, it seems the bus is fighting the group of zombies, with the help of a schoolgirl who I'm guessing is a gatekeeper. After this, the tank just drives away. I mean, I've completely given up hope trying to understand what's going on. And then a big ball of zombies rolls down the street, crashes into a bus, and we're introduced to another secret gatekeeper who, against all odds, smashes a zombie ball with a metal pole. That kind of ends the episode, and despite its complete lack of context, random narratives and odd dialogue choices, I actually quite enjoyed the first episode. In a weird, possibly unintentional way, it has this really fun disregard for its own story. That being said, I think episode 1 was more than enough. Key the Metal Idol is next, and it might be the coolest sounding and looking thing I've seen in ages. Seems like it's a short sci-fi series that aired throughout the 90s. It wasn't uncommon for things to air slowly over the course of a few years back then, so it doesn't really tell as much. I do love mecha anime, but then again, I really hate idol anime, so I'm kind of stuck here too. I guess we'll have to start watching the episode. And to my surprise, the anime starts off on a really serious note. I did think we were going to get something a lot more comical. I'm actually quite interested. Also, there's this awesome symbolic imagery in the opening. We're off to a pretty good start. One thing that sticks out is that early 90s 90s art style. You see the same style in shows like Macross Plus. Big, distinct, detailed character designs really makes things stand out. Now the story does start to come together, but it takes its time. We're introduced to our main character, a robot girl. After her grandfather's passing, she finds out that she can become human, only after befriending 30,000 people. I mean, I can't say it's not an interesting premise. So she travels from her village to Tokyo to find enough people to become friends with. This is where the show gets quite exciting. We're introduced to our mech character. Again, we don't really know much about it, but we do get a pretty cool action scene that utilises that 90s violence. Nothing too noteworthy happens for the rest of the episode, just various narrative pieces that build up different parts of other stories. But overall it was quite a fun episode. The narrative didn't capture me too much and the progression was incredibly slow, but if it keeps offering that funky art style and awesome action, then I might continue watching. Star Ocean EX is our fourth spin and it's quite a complicated one. It's an anime adaptation of a manga, which is a manga adaptation of a video game. They might not be adaptations, they might be based on things here and there, but you get the drift. So not directly a video game adaptation, but it has its roots in one, and I've actually briefly played this one. Again, it's an early 2000s series, it seems to be a recurring theme for this video. Well, let's watch the episode. The beginning of the episode actually really reminds me of a JRPG. Lots of backstory, fancy haircuts, and colourful character designs. Unfortunately, the episode seems to be plagued with awful CG. As much as I want to focus on the episode, really weird animation choices keep distracting me. I feel like I'm looking at a weird painting, which is a shame because the story seems quite interesting. Feels like a classic space adventure. But that's all there is to say really. The episode was quite fun, but it felt way too cheap. Let's hope the next episode's a little more engaging. Up Scramble is our last but not least series, and this one looks pretty interesting. It's a mid-2000s action ecchi series. You probably haven't heard me talk much about ecchi anime, and there's a reason for that. I really have a tough time getting into them, they're just not for me. That being said, I'm willing to give anything a go, so let's watch an episode. Right off the bat, the episode chooses to explain its plot with a narration and some really nice visuals. It basically explains that the government have created an elite team of police officers to fight the ever-growing crime, and I guess they just happen to be busty women. Despite the exposition, I'm really liking the show's visual flair, it has such a strong presence. And oh, there we are, their first ecchi shot. They never get old. And another one. And now we have a girl smashing a bar up because she found her boyfriend on a date with a guy. This show's getting pretty crazy. And now we have another girl beating up some random thugs. I'm not sure why or how, but it seems awesome. And now an Akira style bike scene. Once the action calms down, we have some character development and some top tier cheese dialogue, which is actually quite self-aware and funny. And we're almost immediately back into the action. I really like the amount of time they're spending between dialogue and action, it keeps everything really fast paced. You know, despite the whole ecchi thing, I'm actually really enjoying the show. It does have a lot of ecchi, but it doesn't let that interfere with the rest of the series. It actually has a lot of personality. It might actually be my favourite out of everything we've watched in this video. So with that in mind, what do you think about this style of video? I haven't really done anything like it before, but I quite enjoyed trying random anime I'd never heard about. So leave a comment with your thoughts. And if you enjoyed the video, click the like button and share it around. And of course, if you want to watch more anime related content, you can click subscribe. Cheers.